Hey everybody, it's TJ from the Nashville Wine Duo, and I want to tell you about Anchor by Spotify. It's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Let me tell you why. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And when hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast, and more. So if you're interested, check out anchor.fm for more information. What's up, everybody? I'm TJ.
And I'm Kelsey, and we are
the Nashville Wine Duo. You feel good?
I feel great.
Yeah?
Yes.
Episode 6?
Yes. I don't know if every time we do this, we have to say which episode it is. I think you like to do that because you feel like it's an icebreaker. Right?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if, what you're supposed to do in these situations. So I was just I'm trying to keep track in my head of, what we're doing.
We're just trying to figure this out. But, we keep saying we're having fun and all that. But I'm not going to lie. I think putting yourself, in the public eye. I'm not trying to rhyme. Live public eye. I think it can be stressful at times, and over the past 2 years, I don't think I've really reflected on oh wow, I've completely put myself out there in a lot of ways, as you have, both of us have, and with that comes great risk, and I think that there's reasons why some people never do these things because they're I don't want people to know all my business, or I don't think we share all of our business, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah, when you make yourself vulnerable, you're able to be attacked and kind of exposed, and then people can kind of just say whatever they want without any kind of preference on what it's kind of aligned with or in line. Yeah. Well,
and sometimes it can feel like a popularity game. So I don't know. Last night it was interesting getting a perspective from a friend. We started our Instagram 2 years ago. We've talked about that. We hung out with Claudia and
Claude Wine.
Yeah,
check her out on Instagram.
Yeah, she's great, and she is a wine. I would call her an influencer out of Texas and
San Antonio.
Yeah, and she's awesome. But her and I were just going back and forth, just about the frustrations of you put a lot of effort and work into posts or things you do, and then it's you do get in your head of a numbers or do people care, that's a whole nother aspect of it, because you have these super high highs and then it's why is no one seeing anything I'm doing? But it's kind of out of your control if you're using an app that they have control over everything that the way things are going to go.
Yeah, anytime you're messing with algorithms or something like that, you've got no control, so you're just kind of leaning on technology.
Right. But I think anybody that has used Instagram or Facebook knows this. You could have 300 followers. So if I were a regular person that got on this app, I'd be oh, I have 300 followers. I would think if I post something, 300 people are going to see what I'm doing.
Right.
And then in reality, it's okay, I have 300 followers, and why are only five likes on my picture, or 5 people are seeing this? Which is, that's crazy. That's annoying. And then us, even at our number, people look at it and be oh, they should be getting all these people seeing everything all the time, and sometimes they do.
Sometimes.
It happens.
If the Instagram gods allow it.
Decide, and then other times they don't. And I don't know, I guess I'm going back up, talking about this just because her and I were talking about it last night, and she was just I considered deleting my account. It was just annoying, and it's I kind of wish all this stuff could just be, we talk about, we're doing it for fun, but then it does get in your head, and you compare yourself to people, and unfortunately online, I think a lot of people don't know, too, that people buy followers. They buy likes. Mm-hmm. I think celebrities even do this.
Yeah,
we both think it's kind of you don't really know what's legit out there and what's not. And for us, if it's a legit page, if you see ebbs and flows.
Highs and lows.
If you see it being really high and then you see it being really low, then you know it's real.
It's real.
But, I don't know.
But isn't that kind of like life, though? You know, there's highs, there's lows.
Yeah, I guess. I want more.
You live life, people get in your head, or things get in your head, and you feel that you start comparing yourself or being what? That's life. I feel social media and all that.
But I kind of wish that there was more social media platforms besides like the 3 monopolies or whatever that we've been given. Like I feel like it's like this in life. It's like there's not enough options, and then like everybody kind of goes to this one option, and it gets frustrating because then everyone's trying to play the game, but then everyone is always constantly feeling like they're failing. Like they can never get ahead. Even the people at the top, I'm sure, feel like that because there's always someone, as your brother said, more attractive, has more people that like them, has more money, has more status.
Right.
So like you're never going to be able to win in this game. You just got to be you.
Just got to be you. Right.
Yeah.
And that's the reason we drink wine. And that's the reason we started a podcast, was for like another outlet to kind of express ourselves without just being on Instagram or whatever. So here we are.
Yeah, and I think tonight something specific. Sometimes I say yeah, sometimes I say that word weird. We wanted.
First of all, let's say where we're coming from, because you and Johnny, where it's coming from, we're now phrasing this as the wine cellar where we record the podcast now.
Yeah,
not the dungeon. So we're in the wine cellar
where the cat pees and eats.
You're not supposed to. We're not supposed to keep talking about that. It's now the wine cellar where we keep cheap bottles of wine in the cellar.
No, you're like, hold on. I'm trying to talk about what we're actually going to talk about. So, you and Johnny, thank you for that. No, we are. We had like a person comment, and actually from the beginning of like us talking about wine. So I wanted to take a while to kind of talk about this subject, and hear what you have to say too about it. But it's just been like, okay, so wine, right? A lot of people for like a long time, like wine is like supposed to be this like really sexy, kind of like more for people that if you're going to drink good wine, it has to be expensive, it has to look like a certain lifestyle. You see a lot of wine influencers, the ones that I've seen, like, it's often just so glamorized, women that are just dressed to the nines and look like pinup girls, and and again, nothing wrong with that either. I'm not like bashing that in any way. I'm just saying that it's like looked at as this very expensive, extravagant thing. It's not like for the average everyday person. It's like, oh, well, if you are just a mom at home, then you're just drinking Franzia. Like, it's kind of like, do you know what I'm saying?
You're drinking grocery store wine.
You're drinking grocery store wine. And if you're drinking grocery store wine, then you're drinking wine that is not even considered wine because it is bad in the wine community. Don't even mention grocery wine because that means you're poor. And if you're poor, then you're not drinking good wine. My mic is probably hot right now because I'm just annoyed. So we started actually this. This is another really big reason we started this podcast and the Instagram and everything. Yeah. Because, we had a comment recently talking about that we talk about cheap wine, things like that. Yes, we 100% talk about cheap wine. And
I like to say affordable wine.
Yeah, but if someone's going to use the word cheap, yes. I will say cheap.
You can use the word cheap.
Whatever.
Yes.
So, and I feel like a lot of the time when people are going to talk badly about what a person eats, how they dress, what they drink, if you're going to label something that they like as cheap, you're kind of labeling that person as cheap. And that is what's frustrating to me. It's like, okay, so only the finer people in life, only the rich people in life are ever, those are the only people that are ever going to experience true wine, true food, true living, true clothing. And you know what? I will cuss right now.
Do it.
That's a load of bullshit. That's bullshit. Yep. Like, I do not believe that only the wealthy people in life are going to experience the best aspects of life.
I agree.
And not everyone can afford a $40, $50 bottle of wine every night. And if you like wine, you want to drink it pretty regularly. And guess what? You don't want to spend $50 a night doing that.
Right.
So, and again, we know that expensive wine can be very, very good. But we're trying to, like, go to the every average day consumer that loves wine, and we think that there's more to go into this, but you give your take.
But also, I want to say, too, with expensive wine, you've got wine drinkers it's a gamut of wine drinkers that they might not like $100 bottle of wine or $200 bottle of wine. That might not be what their palate really gravitates towards and what they like. They might like a $10 or $15 bottle of wine. So just to say that you can only drink one price point of wine, I think is bullshit too, because there's all walks of life, and there's all these different palates and people that just want to experience wine, and whether it costs $10 or $20 or $100, I think it's all about the experience, and it's who you're with. And that's the most important thing about it, is like, when you remember drinking this bottle, it's who you were hanging with and what you were eating that night and where you were at.
Right.
Yeah. So all this craziness about like, oh, you can't drink grocery store wine. It has to come from a wine shop or whatever. You and I both think that's bullshit.
Well, and you'll be shocked at how many times like we have heard that. It's kind of crazy. And
we get a lot of hate for being the grocery store workers that work at Trader Joe's but talk about Trader Joe's wine.
Well, and that's the other part that pisses me off. I'm like, okay, so not only am I, in the wine world, am I looked down upon because I'm talking about wine that comes from a grocery store, but then I don't even know if these people realize I actually work at a grocery store. And so, and there's a whole thing about that too, where it's like, there's classes of society, and like, you don't have an opinion if you aren't at the certain caliber of a person. Like, you can't even like speak into this if you don't know. And it's like, well, like, I feel like we do know. Like, I feel like we've tasted so much wine, and I feel like we've really tried to educate ourselves, not just through tasting and reading, but the proof is in the people that have continued to come back to Trader Joe's and said, I come here for Kelsey and TJ's recommendations. I base my choices off of that, because every time I try their choices, I like their choices. And I'm not boasting and saying that. Like, that's just 100% actually true.
True.
People come in and they ask for those things. I mean, it's like, we have decent palates. Like, I really do think we do in like our wine choices. And maybe that might be some inexpensive wine, but I don't know, like, I went off on this, I feel like a year ago too, when someone said something about like, don't buy grocery store wine's crap. And that's the other distinction I wanted to make, and that maybe you can go into more detail about, and we talked about this before, but there's a major difference between your standard grocery store wine and Trader Joe's and Costco.
Right, yeah. I mean, like I said, I might have mentioned it on one of the other podcasts.
We did briefly, but just go in explanation again.
I was taking my WSET course, which I got the email that I passed.
Yes. Yes. Yay.
So, but even my Napa, Wine Academy teacher in California told her students, you guys need to be going to Trader Joe's and trying these varietals that they carry, because they have affordable prices and you can try wine from all over the world and you're not spending a fortune to do it. And like we talk about, the best way to learn about wine is to taste it. And so you can go to Trader Joe's and try a Chablis or Sancerre or Chenin Blanc or whatever it is, Bordeaux, and you're not spending $50 to find out, I might not gravitate towards that or like that.
Right.
So it really opened up our eyes when I started writing the wine order at Trader Joe's, and you and I decided, hey, let's take home these bottles and try them out. And we couldn't even pronounce them because of those words, but we wanted to try, what that was. And I think that was a huge part in our education and learning what regions tasted like, what certain varietals tasted like.
Yeah. So, hearing, when I remember when he first told me this, he's like, the person in my actual wine course class is mentioning Trader Joe's and getting bottles from Trader Joe's. That should tell you something. That's like a wine educator. So, and I know maybe if you're in the UK, if you're in England or something, you might not know what Trader Joe's is. Maybe you do, or other countries you might not know, but It's a very special grocery store that exists here in the United States, and I don't know, if you haven't tried wine from there, you wouldn't really know. So
yeah, I mean, we were just in Costco yesterday, and they had a Sancerre for $14.99, and I know our Trader Joe's Sancerre at $14.99 is unbelievable.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
It's a $30 or $40 quality bottle of wine.
It's so good.
So, and I know Costco has the same kind of buying practices that Trader Joe's has. So
yeah,
just disregard a certain store because, well, it's considered
it's a grocery wine store.
It's asinine.
It really is, and it's we've been really frustrated by this like numerous times, and then there's also these people that just like totally embrace it and love it, because there's people that are like what we're talking about, and they just want to find a good bottle of wine, and they feel ashamed to even ask questions about it because they feel like, whatever, okay, there's a stigma around wine, and we're breaking down those walls of like, no, like, you can talk about a $6.99 bottle of wine and say it's good. You're allowed to say a $6.99 bottle of wine is good, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And these people, I think, before were like, oh, I can't. It's a grocery store. It's $6.99. I'm not allowed to say this. I can't talk about it. I can't give this as a gift or whatever. It's like, no, you can, 100%.
Yeah.
So, and so much sometimes too is also you're paying for a name. Like, I think that's a thing too. Like, you're paying for a brand. Like, there are certain brands that are more expensive in the wine world because it's made a household name for itself.
Right.
So it's just, I don't know. There's just a lot of layers to this.
Well, I want to say something too. Being at Trader Joe's and introducing someone to a Portuguese red blend like Porta 6 or a wine like that, where you're introducing someone to a certain region of wine, and they like Porta 6, say, they might walk into a wine shop and the person there working might be able to point them to a Portuguese wine.
Totally.
And because they experienced Porta 6 from Trader Joe's, that they really enjoy,
then they're going to be able to have even a better one.
They have some back
point
history.
Of reference.
Yeah, point of reference to be like, okay, I've tried a wine from Portuguese.
Right.
Or Portugal, I mean, and I can now go, okay, well, now I'm willing to spend $25, $30 on a wine and take that chance because I was introduced to it on this kind of level. And human beings, we should always be trying to excel and go up on levels and just growing in our knowledge and wisdom and that in life. So who says that can't happen in wine? You start at one place, but you keep growing. It doesn't mean you don't come back to your $6.99 Porta 6 that you love, but you can go to a wine shop and be like, okay, I've experienced some Portugal wine. Show me what you have, and still appreciate it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Totally.
I just don't think you have to stay in a box and just be like, okay, now I can only drink like this level of shit because...
Oh, I totally agree with you. And that is, I think, what's so frustrating about being in this space of what we're in is because I think people are very much put in boxes. I think that if you're a woman in wine, it's hard. Like, there's not a lot of space for that for female winemakers, or if you're trying to promote it, you're honestly, I'm just going to throw out there, like, you got to be very sexualized if you're going to make this. I feel like that happens a lot, where women get very sexualized in wine. Like, that's kind of like the avenue they feel like they have to go in order to make it big. And again, if that's you, fine, but like, it makes it hard for people that are like, okay, they don't want to go that route. You know, they might want to just go like talking educationally about it. And like, I feel like sometimes that, like, someone that's like, okay, they're more like, you know, they don't want to be as sexy, but then it's kind of like it's hard for them to like be in that space.
Yeah.
Kind of. Does that make sense? And again, I'm not trying to like say it's wrong for you to like be sexy in wine or like have that be a part of your... It is. But I'm just saying, like, I feel like it can be hard for women sometimes to be taken seriously unless it's like a certain way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So...
Well, and we talk to a lot of, I would say, soccer moms or women that come in the store that, you know, at the end of the day of dealing with kids or, you know, pickup lines or whatever it is like they're dealing with, that they just want to come home and have a good glass of wine and relax and chill. And they don't care. I mean, I shouldn't say they don't care about the price point, but they're shopping, they're getting their groceries. They don't want to run to a liquor store and make another stop with kids and all. Like, show me a good wine that I can appreciate and drink tonight, and I'm going to enjoy. Done. Yeah. I don't want to go and take the kids and pull them out of the SUV and go stop at another, store.
Right. Well, and I think we'll finish after, like,
this tangent.
We'll go, yeah.
I
think the last thing...
came out firing on this one.
I know. I think the last thing about it, too, is also, like, to be, like, people think, oh, well, you're buying grocery store wine, like, you're not supporting sustainable farms, you're not supporting, like, small families. Like, if you guys don't know because you're not on our side of it, like, we know the history of these wines at Trader Joe's. Mm-hmm. A lot of them come from sustainable farms and small vineyards and family owned 3-generation families from all over the world. Yeah. Like, these are people that, if anything, they should be celebrated because they made it big by making a deal with a major company. Yeah. And they're being represented in a store, and that's something to be proud of for people that have worked their whole life in the wine world. And we know wine, like, we've been to vineyards, like, it is not an easy thing to do. So to make it into Trader Joe's, these people should be, hell yeah, I'll celebrate them and buy their wine, because that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we were just drinking the Pass, which is at Trader Joe's for $9.99. And on the back of it, it's sustainably farmed Sauv Blanc from Marlborough, New Zealand. And it's awesome.
It's awesome.
And it's probably a $20 bottle of wine, $25, quality-wise. Yeah. And, we just realized it's sustainably farmed and coming from New Zealand. And
it was such a good wine.
Yeah, so...
Well, all that to say, though, tonight I'm going to move on. We are drinking... So we have liked this wine for a long time.
This is affordably priced wine. I picked a
quote-unquote cheap wine on purpose for tonight because we love this wine. So this wine is $5.99 at Trader Joe's. It's ruby red. It's medium-bodied with soft fruit and a clean, nice finish. It's very elegant. It's approachable, well-balanced, super soft. Fresh fruit, clean, crisp finish. It's...
French?
Yes, it's a G.S.M. You want to tell them what a G.S.M. is?
Why don't you tell me what a G.S.M. is? Because I know. I just passed my W set.
So, G.S.M. stands for Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvedre.
Yes.
And these are the 3 grapes used in the classic French Rouen red wine blends. Mm-hmm. And many people argue are the perfect standard red wines to serve with most meals. So, these wines go so great with food. Excellent, excellent with food. Great with, like, beef, poultry, super delicious. So this one is 34% Grenache and 33% Syrah and 33% Mourvedre. And we love this wine.
It's one of those bottles that when you do open it, it's just so drinkable and smooth that the bottle's gone before you realize it. And you go to pour it and it's like, oh, damn it, it's empty.
Yeah, and it's from the Languedoc. Ludovic would probably... I think I kind of said it okay.
I think you did good.
Which is, it's the largest wine growing area in France, adjacent to the Rhone to the west. So it's a terrific wine for $5.99.
Yes.
I mean, it's a black label. It has some stars on the front of it.
We're going to post a picture of it on our Instagram.
Very, very good.
So please... If you're interested, check out the stories on our Instagram. We'll have a picture of it.
Yes.
So you can reference it when you go to the grocery store to pick up your wine.
Well, right now everybody's on spring break, so we're noticing we have a giveaway going right now for Good Molecules.
Yeah, Good Molecules skincare.
And
it's going on until Friday.
And we kind of noticed how we posted it and, like, no one's seeing it. Everyone's on spring break.
But go to our page if you love skincare and you want to check out Good Molecules,
We're going to pick 3 winners, and it's going to be really cool. So
so enter to win. Yeah. But yeah, Ténèbres, G.S.M. It's awesome. So we were talking last night. First of all, we went to Jasper's. That's where we met Claude Wine. Mm-hmm. Jasper's in downtown Nashville, kind of like West End area outside of downtown. They have a frosé that is amazing, very unbelievable. Mm-hmm. Dry. What was it?
I don't remember everything in it.
Grenadine.
It's very grapefruity and delicious, and like it's the kind of like I honestly think frosé sucks, but like when I had it there, I was like, okay, now I like frosé.
Yeah.
So
and Jasper's really is owned by Amerigos and part of Etch too. So I had a wonderful glass of Chilean Cab. So definitely check out Jasper's too if you're wanting some good wine. It's all on tap too, which is interesting.
Yes.
So
great place to go. So yeah, check out Jasper's and buy yourself some cheap grocery store wine this week.
We were talking last night. This is what I originally was getting to before I got sidetracked on Jasper's. But I want you to tell the story because I was laughing so hard about you and your sister's NSYNC rivalry with JT and JC, and how you guys fought over who got to hang Justin Timberlake posters up on your wall.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. This will be the last story, then we're going to wrap it
up. This is such a good story, though.
I'm ready to, I want to go watch a show.
What show are we watching?
I don't know. I want to watch something funny. I'm like, I need to watch something funny to, like, make me not be annoyed anymore. Yeah. So, like, what were we watching? We were watching music videos.
Yeah, we like to watch music videos towards the end of the night.
Yes, and we were watching, you turned on Backstreet Boys and I turned on NSYNC.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, sometimes we watch YouTube videos, like, to, like, get, like, in fun moods and stuff, and, like, we know all the songs and stuff. So I loved NSYNC, TJ, like, Backstreet Boys, because that was kind of, like, more your time.
They were all the same time.
Yeah, but...
You tell the story of you and Ashley with Justin Timberlake.
Okay.
That's what I want. Give the people what they want. And the people is me. Because I want to hear it again.
So my older sister, she was just, like, really obsessed with NSYNC, as I was. We both were. We would, like, wait up and watch TRL and, like, wait to record anything that NSYNC would do. And, you know, her being the older sister, like, it was just really annoying. Like, she had pictures, like, all over her walls. And, like, she was just like, well, you can't, like, have Justin. Like, Justin is mine. And I was like, okay. And, like, I couldn't even say he was attractive. Like, I couldn't, like, talk about Justin. And she was like, well...
She was that protective of Justin.
She was like, you can have Chris. You should say you can have Chris or Joey. And, like, you guys know. Like, she wouldn't even let me have JC.
What?
Yeah. I mean, like, it was kind of like, I was like, okay, JC. And I think almost JC was almost like her backup. Like, if Justin didn't work up, she was going to get JC. So I was like, I got... Chris, Joey, or Lance, and...
Which nobody really wanted them.
No.
Let's be honest. No.
I mean, I guess if you had... No, I don't know anything about it.
No. Didn't Chris wear the goggles on top of
yes, yeah, the goggles, and then he had, like, the Corella DeVille, like...
Yeah.
Like, cornrows. So it just, like, sucked, and I was so sad. So then, yeah, I remember I told DJ, I was like, I got so upset that I just gave up, and then I ended up just going with 98 Degrees. Because
you didn't even want to fight it anymore.
I didn't want to fight it anymore. So I could have pictures of Nick Lachey and 98 Degrees all over my walls, and she didn't care because nobody cared about 98 Degrees in reality. But I made it a big thing. I was just like, oh, I have Nick Lachey now. Like, and she was like, look at me like it doesn't even matter. Like, Justin trumps that, like, by like 1 million. Like, 98 Degrees is like the soundtrack of Mulan.
Oh my gosh.
NSYNC is the soundtrack of, like, weren't they even in Tarzan?
Oh, I don't know.
They were.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You would know. I mean, you're...
No, I would. They were everything. And so it sucked. And actually, I didn't tell you this either. We met them. We met...
You met NSYNC?
No, we met Justin and... I think it was Justin and I forget who else it was. Well, when they were in the Mickey Mouse Club. We knew someone in Michigan who was in the Mickey Mouse Club. Something DeLuca, something like that. He was on The Voice too.
Okay.
I want to say Tony. Something, I don't know. He was on the show and he knew my family and he had dated my aunt. Uh-huh. And he was on the show and he ended up, him and Justin, like, this sounds like a made-up story, but that's really real. They needed, like, a ride to, like, something and, like, he got in our car. I don't even remember it, but supposedly I've met him once.
Do you remember it?
Like, barely. I don't really remember.
All right.
But that was before they were in sync, so it didn't mean anything.
Didn't mean anything.
No.
Doesn't count.
Doesn't count, but yeah. That's the gist.
So you're team NSYNC, I'm team Backstreet. So...
Yeah, but now I'm kind of like, if we were talking about this last night, if you look at both bands, Backstreet Boys by far has way more attractive members. Not just that, but they are more...
what'd you say last night? They're a unit.
They're a team. They're more of a unit.
Yeah.
Like, it always kind of felt like... It felt like when you watch NSYNC compared to Backstreet Boys, like, it was like it was like Justin and then JC. JC felt like the backup. But it was always like the two of them were like the main players, and the other three were kind of like, okay, they're just there.
Just filling.
Yeah, and like if you look at Backstreet Boys, though, you're like they're a unit. Like they are a whole team, and that's why I think they were able to make this comeback. And you can watch them, and you love all of them. Like you love every one of them. Like you don't think. Like I can like every single one of them for certain reasons, and they all have qualities that I love. And like we watched the video, like "Don't Go Breaking My Heart," like, right? And it was like, man, they're amazing dancers. They're all like in their 40s. Yeah. Like I don't know, just super impressed by them. And I think overall, in the long run, I'm gonna say I'm Team Backstreet Boys. Yeah, I think that they are better. Man. I think they're better. I think they're a better boy band in the long run. I love that. And they've withstood time. Yep. And I don't know. I like them a lot. Like I just said, they're going to be... And all of them really are attractive.
Yeah. They're doing Vegas now. They have a residency in Vegas.
They're great, and I would totally love to go do that with you.
You know? Mm-hmm. So, Team Backstreet for sure. I wonder if any of them like wine. Maybe we should get one on a podcast.
Oh, yeah. Let's...
Backstreet Boys, reach out to us.
Oh, yeah. It's going to happen. Well, thank you all for tuning in. I think we're going to try to do little, like, micro podcasts, like, throughout the week if we can.
Maybe something if something's going on exciting, we can just hop on.
Or even like if like a new, like we were thinking, like I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't tell you this. No, like a new wine or like a new like product comes up at Trader Joe's that we're trying and we like it right away. Maybe we'll just do a little podcast talking about it.
I like that.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, we're on lunch. We're eating this right now.
It goes back to always be growing, thriving, excelling, leveling up.
Right.
That's what we're talking about.
Yes. So, thanks for tuning in, and
we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.